Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Eduard. It's a limited edition release in a 1/48 scale. It comes as a dual combo which copies A6 M20 Type 21, and here we get markings from 1941-1944, so it might be an interesting version for these modders who would like to copy one of these green covered aircraft, or they would like to focus on a slightly different stage of the war, because as you remember previous limited edition release of the Zero, it was dedicated to the Pearl Harbor, and now we have it in a bit more widened scope of the aircraft. And we have a commercial sample here, so it means you will get exactly the same stuff. Kit number is 11158, and it should be already available, so if you would like to get it, it's better to hurry up, because these ones are getting sold out really quick. And you can see that box size is typical for this brand. Here is comparison with my hand. We have really beautiful box art. Here on the side we have also some safety information and also information about manufacturer in case you would like to visit them. That's where you should go. And on the opposite side we can see all the 12 markings which are included here, so do not forget that we are dealing with a dual combo, so you will be able to copy 2 out of these 12, and this is really great. In 1/48 scale, 2 aircraft together will look quite impressive. So this is a top opening box, and here's what we have inside. I would say that packaging is rather on the tight side, so you can see that sprues fill it in completely. And because this is dual combo, we won't be checking the same stuff again and again. We will check only one set of sprues needed for building one model. So first thing will be this clear frame. As you can see, it is packed into a separate Ziploc bag, and we have here canopy parts and other stuff. So let's take it out, zoom in, and maybe open the lenses a bit. Okay, so here we have all canopy parts for the Zero in 1/48 scale, and of course you can copy the open cockpit with these parts. I will bring them closer so that you can understand what we are talking about. Molding quality looks fine, and because this is a limited edition, there should be masks included, so basically you have everything ready to be built out of the box, and you don't have to do anything extra. You just get these masks, apply them on the clear parts, and you'll be good to go. So now I'm opening the second plastic bag. Here we have first set of gray plastic sprues. So they're coming in double, something like this. As you can see, 2 of the same type. So just like as I said before, we will check only 1 of each, so that we do not repeat ourselves. Okay, so we are going to start with this rather large sprue which is dedicated to wing parts, and maybe I'll open the lenses so that it will be a bit more visible. So overall design is quite typical. We have a lower one-piece panel and 2 top panels with separate ailerons. Note that flaps are molded, so in case you would like to drop them, you will have to get an aftermarket PE set which is sold by Eduard, otherwise you won't be able to replicate this feature. And if I zoom in, you can see that here we have quite nice external features. They include recessed panel lines and rivets, and believe me, in 1/48 scale they look quite impressive, so it's better not to overdo the paint and primer layers so that you won't get all these features lost under the paint cover. But otherwise, as I said, it looks really good. And here we have also some minor features for the main wheel wells. We also have some things for the cockpit, because they will be visible through the cockpit, so that's why Eduard thought it through, and we have all the areas covered properly. It's not like something is skipped, and this is really great because it will give you better features on your aircraft. Next we continue, just give me a second. So we continue with the fuselage half sprue, and here obviously we have both fuselage halves, and you can see that they are molded together with the tail fin, but without cowling. As you can see, it should be assembled separately. This assembly jig will help you to get the right fitment of the parts. Note that front cowling ring is molded as a single piece part, so you won't have any gaps in the middle. And also rudder is separate here. You can see it in the corner there. Okay, let's zoom in. So for the external features, we have pretty much the same stuff as what we saw on the wing parts, and that means really good details. I appreciate what Eduard did here because, I mean, all the previous releases in Zero, A6, M2 are not comparable with what is offered here. Obviously, Eduard leveraged the modern technology, and that's why we have a lot of tiny features which were not replicated before. And if I flip it over, inside you can find some structural features for the cockpit and some guiding elements for fuselage halves. As you can guess, the main structure of the cockpit, it will be copied with separate bits which will be inserted in between fuselage halves. Now I'm opening another plastic bag, so just give me a second. Okay, so here we have, I would say, rather supplemental sprues with all additional parts for cockpit, landing gear and other elements, and in a second you will see what I'm talking about. So, first of all, we have this frame with external fuel tank, propeller and some landing gear parts. Do not forget that, for example, landing gear wheels, they can be upgraded with a brassing set from Eduard, and it will be a noticeable upgrade, so it's definitely worth considering if you have some spare cash. And if I zoom in even further, here you can see some of the landing gear parts. This is a 1/48 scale kit, so some of them are still quite thin, that's why you have to be extra careful while separating them. But other than that, I do not see any possible issues here. These landing gear legs, they look quite nice. And here you can see propeller with attachment points in the middle, so it means it will be quite easy to separate all of the sprue. You won't have to, let's say, worry about damaging the main part, if we can say so. And the last but not the least is the gray plastic sprue with cockpit parts and also with the engine. And to be honest, engine surprised me a bit because, as you remember, recent, for example, Focke-Wulf 190 release from Eduard, it contained only the insert of the engine, and if you would like to copy the whole power plant, you have to get the brassing upgrade. Here you get quite nicely detailed engine out of the box, and in my opinion it should be more than enough for modellers who don't want to work with resin, so that's definitely a good thing. And here you can see all these parts a bit closer. So cockpit is also nicely detailed out of the box. Do not forget that we are dealing with a limited edition, so it means we also get some PE parts included, and it will add some fine details into the cockpit. That's why it should be worth it to open the canopy to expose what is inside, and maybe also to work on weathering the cockpit, because it will make whole model a bit more realistic, I would say. So next we continue with various bonuses, and we have plenty of them here. So they are hidden on the bottom of the box, by the way. First of all is this plastic bag with PE threads. As far as you can see, these are identical PE threads, so I will show you only one because they carry the same set of parts. There is no need to show the same stuff again and again. So let's put it here, zoom in. This is a pre-painted PE thread, so as I said, it will be handy in the cockpit as well, but note that there are also some external elements copied in form of PE parts. And this is really great because some of the thin elements cannot be copied with plastic. That's where PE comes handy. And as I said, this is a free bonus, you don't have to pay anything extra, so definitely a worthy addition to the package. Next we continue with mask sheet. So this one is pre-cut, and as you can see it covers not only the canopy but also landing gear wheels. And of course we have two sets of masks for both models, so it means that both will get a nice paint finish out of the box. Next I'm opening a small plastic bag with Decals sheets. So here we have a pair of Decal sheets dedicated to the stencils. Obviously they're printed in Eduard. So here you can see the first one. Let me close the lenses a bit so that it won't be that bright for you. So here you can see them, and they look quite nice. So it might be a bit tedious to apply all these tiny symbols, but believe me, it should be worth it. So definitely go for it, spend some time, apply them all on your Zero, and you will be satisfied with the result, in my opinion. Next, I'm opening one more plastic bag. So here we have Decals sheets in a slightly bigger size. So it will be interesting to see what is printed on them. Let's remove this one. So first of all, we have a Hinomaru on the separate decal sheet. There are several types of these symbols, and I know that some of you might say that it can be copied with masks. It is up to you whether you would like to do so, but believe me, this printing quality is really good, and there are two ways of application for this Eduard decals. That's why I think you should be fine by using these decals and following a bit more dangerous way, which offers a thinner result, let's say. And next we continue with one more decals sheet. This one is bigger. And here we have all the main symbols for 12 marking options. And again, the same story. All these lines can be replicated with masks, but it will all depend on your skills. And as you know, Eduard does not include masks for such elements, even though they could, let's say it straight. But these decals are also nice in my opinion, and they should look good on the aircraft. Next, we continue with assembly manual. So this one is printed in form of large brochure. Here we have the same picture as on the box art, and if we open it, we start with a short history note. Well, it's not short, I would say, because as you can see, it spans on the several pages, and this is really good. It will give you some background on what is actually included here. Next, we continue with the parts map. So blue color means that these parts will stay untouched. Assembly process starts with the cockpit, so a lot of PE parts to be handled straight away on these stages, so be ready for that. And as you remember, I mentioned that some of these parts are really tiny, so it's better to get sharp tweezers for this. Next, we continue with the fuselage halves, and we join them together, install the cockpit when the fuselage halves are glued together. This is quite interesting sequence, I would say. Next, we continue with wing parts. I was just checking these panels, the separate panels. I guess they help to copy some particular type of the Zero. Next, we have the tail wings and wing installation. Here we assemble the engine. As I said, it should be quite detailed, so that's why it's worth taking some time to paint and weather it. And maybe you can also leave the cowling not glued to the aircraft, so you can, let's say, easily remove it from the aircraft and expose the engine on the finished model. Next, we continue with the landing gear, external fuel tank or bomb, propeller. Here, the canopy installation stage, we have to decide whether we would like to open it or not. And masks application guide here. So, next we continue with a marking guide. These two aircraft come in from November 1941 and March 1942. Next, we have two from April and June 1942. Another pair from September and October 1942. Here we continue with aircraft from March and April. This one is quite interesting in my opinion, because it combines both green aircraft and gray aircraft. Here we have two aircraft from April and June 1944. And two more from October and early 1944. As you can see here, this one has even the orange bottom parts. And here we have the stencils application guide. So as I said, this is something worth installing or applying on your aircraft. So this set should be already available, and as I said, it's a limited edition, so it's better to hurry up if you want to get one. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such a list. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.